Bee Swarm Simulator is the longest living simulator game on Roblox, currently being updated for a whole 7 years already. But with time, the game has been getting less updates and overall less of new content, making more people slowly quit due to the game becoming less fun with nothing new to progress for. And the reason as to why there's nothing new to go for as an endgame player is because the updates are being made pretty rarely. If we take a look on the update logs again, we can see that in the first year of the game's existence it had 14 updates, while later it had just 3 updates in 3 years. And in 2024 it did have some more of them because of Roblox inviting the game to the events. If we check the latest updates changelog, which is for the current BeesMA's update, it barely has anything new in it. And that is another problem with the game right now. BeesMA's updates, which always were iconic and really just acted as holidays to the players, won't be having new content anymore. Why would Onett do something like this? Well, a simple answer would be that he just doesn't seem to be motivated to work on the game anymore. The new update was made just to add BeesMA's event, since people got used to them, but since Onett doesn't seem to have any motivation right now, the only stuff that has been added are quests pretty much. And talking about quests, the final Bee Bears quest has been bugged for about a week, basically since Part 2 came out. And Part 2 actually came out with a delay, was planned to be out around the 8th of March, but instead came out a week later. I mean, just this already shows that Onett doesn't really want to work on the game anymore. Another thing kind of proving that point is that he doesn't want any suggestions, which I guess also indicates that he doesn't really want to make anything community would suggest. And well, being honest, even things Onett promised haven't really been made, so taking even more from suggestions would only make this worse for him. But I'll get to that a bit later in the video. The point is that Onett has no motivation to work on the same game for 7th year already. Even simply making quests for which code already exists is something Onett has to delay now, which is what happened with the current BeesMA's, as I already showed. And taking all of the years this game has been out for, I think it's safe to say that the golden age of Bee Swarm Simulator was from 2018 to 2020. Those 3 years is when the game received most of its updates, or to be exact, 22 out of 31 updates it had. And I'm saying this as someone who started to play Bee Swarm Simulator back in 2018, has over 200 days of playtime and many endgame items. Many important changes were made back then, like for example gifted bees, and food was added in summer 2018. The 20, 30, and 35 bee areas came out in 2018 and 2019. Isn't it crazy it has been that long since the game got any new areas? Those were the years when the game was pretty new, and obviously Onett actually was motivated to work on the updates. So in just a few months, you'd get an entire new zone with fields, boss, new items, and whatever else. I won't go through every update, obviously, since this is not a story about Bee Swarm video, but you get the point. A lot of stuff was being added back then which kept players interested all the time. And with time, as we already understood, Onett was slowly losing the motivation to work on this game. This can be noticed by the promised items, such as colored endgame bags, which, well, you know, were meant to be out about 3 years ago, but it doesn't look like that have happened. And let's not forget the Elite HQ rooms, which were also planned around that time. The only reason they actually were meant to be added is to hold new endgame items. Another item I could bring in is the Cocoa Belt. It was meant to be added in 2023, but did actually end up being added, just a year later. But the problem with this item is that it's not really that good. The ability it has just throws coconuts to fields with players on them, meaning that if you're in a public server like I am in this example, you just simply won't end up with any good boost. And even if you were to be alone in the server, while spending time catching the coconut, you'd most likely end up losing other boosts. And as in boosts it provide, I wouldn't call it that good for the price you have to pay. The reason I'm telling all of that is because if new items aren't exactly worth to grind for, players might as well not go for them and leave the game again until something else is added. And sometimes, if you don't play the game for long enough, you might lose the interest in joining back again. But then, Why wouldn't Onett just hire developers for them to continue working on Bee Swarm Simulator instead? Onett did answer to that a long time ago, and he basically says that he wants to work alone on the game since it's a personal project to him, so he wants to do it alone. Another pretty big reason as to why Bee Swarm Simulator doesn't feel as fun to play anymore is because the game really just turned into Macro Simulator. At one point, people started to use macros, and nowadays it's really just something every player uses at this point. You can even see how macros overtook the game if you check the average playtime. It just kinda slowly went up since more people were leaving their computers for hours a day. Now, I'm personally not a fan of macros in Bee Swarm Simulator, since the game was meant to be grindy, but now you can just let a program do everything for you. And I will say that this could be one of the reasons the game doesn't feel as fun anymore. Players don't actually play the game as much, but instead have a program that plays the game for them. And now, combining all of the points I made earlier, I feel like it's not a surprise the game is getting less fun to play. It will be getting boring, especially to those that actually played it for years, since playing the same game but with less of new content can get tiring and boring. You might switch to something that would feel newer and would be getting updated. The reason I quit playing the game is because I simply got bored of it. The reasons I have been naming is something I could have experienced myself and something I know other players have experienced, which also led to them leaving the game. And I feel like more people are slowly quitting the game because of how empty it might feel right now. So I guess with the question we might be left is, for how long will Bee Swarm Simulator still be kept updated? Even if it gets updates like it has been for the past few years, I feel like it might be updated for a few years more. At some point, Onett will completely lose the interest in updating it most likely, which also would mean the game would end there. Some people even think he would sell the game, but seeing his message about it being his personal project, I highly doubt since he didn't even want to hire any developers. Roblox might invite Bee Swarm to the events again, which also would mean it would get some extra content. But otherwise, the game will slowly lose the players since less would be interested in playing and doing the same things every time without anything new being added. The problem with Onett is that he can promise things but either not deliver them or deliver with a delay, and that's why quite a few people start dislike him and quit the game. But let me know what you think about the game, and if you still play it or not, and if you did quit, what was the reason? Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I would really appreciate that. You can watch one of these videos while waiting for a new one. They are good too. Join my Discord server. You can chat with me and other members. The link is in description, and I will see you soon.